This week we got Into the Lights, which means more new guns to talk about. More specifically, some of the most broken guns we've ever seen. Like a new mountaintop that lets you rocket jump, or I don't know, Edge Transit with Cascade Point Bait and Switch, or Luna's Howl with Slide Shot and Magnificent Howl 3.0. That lets it 2-tap again. Or Forbearance 2 with Demo Chain Reaction as the only gun that could possibly power creep Forbearance is Forbearance itself, obviously. Today I'm talking about one of the less stupidly broken ones, being the new Stranger's Rifle. The Stranger's Rifle, for those who haven't played D1, is a pulse rifle that you obtained by beating the vanilla D1 campaign. I'm pretty sure it would be a 390 pulse rifle that was carried over exactly, and it was your first legendary weapon. If I remember correctly, it wasn't particularly very good, however it did have one of the most unique weapon models in the franchise, that you've seen basically everywhere now whenever we get new Vex content. Just to list all of the weapons that have used this model, for example, we have the Stranger's Rifle itself, Fate of All Fools, the D1 No Time to Explain, Machina Day 4, Authoritative, D2 No Time to Explain, and now the Elsie's Rifle, which I'll actually get to talking about. The Elsie's Rifle, I'll continue to call it Stranger's Rifle, is a 340 Void pulse rifle from Onslaught, with some pretty comparable stats to Messenger, which is you'd think its main competition would be. The Stranger's Rifle has 60 range, 55 stability, 42 handling, 60 reload speed, 40 bullet mag, 17 zoom, and 24 AE, whilst the Messenger has 66 range, 54 stability, 31 handling, 34 reload speed, 37 bullet mag, 18 zoom, and 20 AE. Now, whilst the Messenger has lower stats, you have to keep in mind that Messenger can also be Adept, allowing you to get better stats with the +2 in every stat from the Masterwork and Adept mods, which basically kind of just puts them on par. The competition, as usual, is primarily in the perks. To go over both very quickly, the Stranger's Rifle in the third column has Feeding Frenzy, Zen Moment, Repulsor Brace, Loose Change, Keep Away, Under Over, and Rewind Rounds. In the fourth column, it then has Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Kill Clip, Headseeker, Desperado, Adrenaline Junkie, and Desperate Measures, which is the new perk from Into the Light. The way it works is that you need a weapon kill and then ability kills to get a stacking damage buff that goes up to 30%, which you'd think, well, isn't it just Golden Tricorn then? The difference between the two perks is that Desperate Measures is refreshable off of weapon kills, meaning you can keep the pretty sizable damage buff up for far longer than you would with Tricorn. Onto Messenger's perk pool now. The Messenger in the third column has Perpetual Motion, Outlaw, Rapid Hit, Moving Target, Offhand Strike, Under Over, and Discord. Whilst in the fourth column it has Headseeker, Kill Clip, Desperado, Harmony, Encore, Kinetic Tremors, and Keep Away. The funny thing about Messenger is that it's been reprised about several times at this point. This means that some roles have missing perks such as Zen Moments or Encore in the third column or Celerity in the fourth, and I'd honestly argue that in the current sandbox a old Messenger with Zen Moment Desperado is going to be better than basically any other role you can get of the thing due to flinch. But considering it's unobtainable, I won't be taking that into account for the comparison, but keep in mind that if you have one, it's basically going to be a carbon copy of the Stranger's Rifle role. However, for the people like me who do not have that role, I believe Stranger's Rifle will just outgun it 9 times out of 10, because it has Zen and Desperado itself, with the better stats obviously. I also want to talk about the other points of comparison being PSI Hermetic and Relentless, as they are both pulses released after Season 22, meaning they have predictive recoil, which is important on keyboard and mouse, as you're going to need the predictive recoil to get full use out of your 340 pulse rifle, due to the recoil nerf from a while ago. PSI Hermetic's main roles are Moving Target, Elemental Capacitor and Encore in the third column, and Kill Clip, Golden Tricorn, and Headseeker in the fourth, making it a decent competitor but lacking the time to kill from Messenger and Stranger's Rifle, alongside again lacking Zen Moment. Relentless main roles are Keep Away, Rapid Hit in the third column, and then Desperado, Headseeker, Moving Target, and Zen Moment in the fourth column. This is certainly better, not as good, but better. It also has decent stats, certainly not as good as Messenger or Stranger's Rifle, but still alright. It has 55 range, 49 stability, 24 handling, 36 reload speed, 39 bullet mag, 18 zoom, and 10 AE. Again, not good at base, but alright at least. The main reason I would actually use Relentless over Messenger or Hermetic is a mixture of things. Firstly, the Origin trait is great, as the 10 range boost pushes it to being very competitive, and the damage boost it gets can be nice for breaking resale gates. And secondly, the recoil is actually very good on Relentless. The roll I have on Relentless basically is nothing to help the recoil and can absolutely beam people at times. However, it can still be a bit inconsistent, so running Desperado over Zen is a bit of a risk, but very doable. Now, the reason I've just ranted about every other 340 in the game is just to show how far ahead Stranger's Rifle actually is over the other pulses you can currently obtain. So, onto the juicy bit. In PvE, I personally wouldn't really recommend it, there's just better weapons you can go for. However, if you did want to run it for whatever reason, just go Repulsor Brace / Feeding Frenzy / Rewind rounds with Desperate Measures / Frenzy. In PvP, however, you're going to want either Chambered Compensator or Arrowhead, as while Sleep Base Recoil is good, Chambered or Arrowhead is basically needed on a 340 Pulse Rifle nowadays, even with great recoil. I have Chambered on mine, and I'll probably be hunting for Chambered on my God Roll, so I can get the extra stability from it for Flinch Resist, which is the same reason you'd want Ricochet. However, considering it's a 340, I'd partially recommend at least looking at High Cal, as that Flinch can make a fight go your way over the enemies. On actual perks, Keep Away is good for the extra 10 range and bit of aim assist as per usual. With Chambered and Ricochet, it'll bring you up to 85 range with 75 stability and 90 reload speed, which translates to 38 meters before drop-off with a lot of stability. Under Over is a funny option with Headseeker that was also on Messenger. I'm sure a good chunk of you have seen the Kamikaze video where we talked about this, but for those who haven't, with Headseeker you can miss a headshot on low resilience Guardians, but not high resilience. And with Overshields, Titans will live a 2 burst, meaning you have to get a 3 burst, but they will be left 1 tap, which is worth mentioning as we are in a team shot meta. So you'd either have to hit 1 more headshots with a 3rd burst, or someone else would simply have to hit the Titan with another Pulse, 120 or Scout to finish them off. Warlocks, however, will get 2 burst out of a Healing Rift, and you can hit your first shot as a body whilst still getting a 2 burst with Headseeker. So it's a very niche and won't come up often outside of trials, but when it does, it's actually quite worth having. So it's really up to you to decide whether you actually want that or not. I think it should be obvious, but I do primarily recommend running Zen Moments in the 3rd column for both the flinch resist and the visual recoil reduction. With Chambered, your recoil will be pretty good, however I myself still find it hard to hit shots at times and therefore would greatly enjoy getting the better recoil. And you would not believe the amount of times I was flinched out of kills this week, so in my opinion it's basically mandatory for the current sandbox, because I quite like my gun shooting straight. In the 4th column, Headseeker is obviously an option for a little bit of extra forgiveness. Desperate Measures is another option for forgiveness, as the 10% buff in the first stack makes it a 4 head 2 body up to 7 resell, and a 5 head 1 body from tier 8 resell onwards, but I wouldn't really use it myself. Kill Clip is actually a pretty decent option though, as it not only shifts your time to kill from a 0.67 to a 0.6, which despite being largely unnoticeable, can cause some fights to go in your favour. Its main bonus is actually being a range perk, surprisingly, as Pulse Rifle Fall-Off is incredibly forgiving. With Chambered, Ricochet and a ranged Masterwork, you can technically hit up to 51 meters before you'll experience enough fall-off to where you can't hit a 2 burst anymore if you hit all crits, which not only counts as igneous but also plants you in general scout rifle distance, as most scouts reach up to 70 meters before drop-off, and most lanes on maps tend to be about 51 meters in my experience. Frenzy can also achieve this to a lesser extent, allowing you to hit a 2 burst up to 47 meters out, alongside its boost to reload and handling. However, it will be much harder to activate than Kill Clip, requiring that you be in combat for 12 seconds. Desperado is also a great option on the Stranger's Rifle, as you'll then be hitting a 0.55 TTK, which is basically the same as a sidearm. However, you'll basically need to hit all heads all the time, so I myself would only recommend it to those who have incredibly good aim. So to summarise the God roll, I would aim for Keep Away / Zen Moments with Kill Clip / Desperado, depending on what playstyle you'll want to use the Pulse Rifle for. And it's basically all of the objective stuff out of the way, I think. Stranger's Rifle is a great weapon that you should absolutely go for. I mean, I put up 350 kills on the thing in the first week it's been out, so I definitely believed it to be a worthwhile gun. Especially since it's another free weapon, and like the Des weapons will continue to be available forever. Plus you get it from Onslaught, which is incredibly fun to play. For me, that's more than enough a reason to grind for it. You can also run it with Conditional since it's an energy weapon, so it's just objectively better than any kinetic slot pulse no matter what they did to it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say today. Hopefully next week I can talk about Midnight Coup or Mountaintop. If not, then it'll be Autos again. So, like, comment, sub, and adios.
界